It is WrestleMania weekend. It's finally here later than usual. And this is WrestleMania Hub here on Sports Hub STL, presented by DraftKings. The crown is yours. Our WrestleMania 41 preview show brought to you by Central State Sandwiches. I am Joe Roderick. I'm joined alongside by John Marecek, Tony Patrico, and Thomas Welch here on the program for the next hour or so, going over the WrestleMania card as we are recording this Saturday or Friday night after WrestleMania or after SmackDown has come to an end. 13 matches in all on the card. We'll go over night one and then night two. I will ask, and I will go around the room just to ask this to start off. What is your excitement level of WrestleMania right now? And John, I'll start with you.
Mid. How about that? There's so much, and it's so hard to have a compelling card top to bottom for two nights. The top ones on both nights are the most interesting, I think, to everybody. And then there's a lot of just other matches. And that's okay. It's fine. This is a celebration of professional wrestling. And as long as the top is great, then I think everybody is going to get their money's worth and be happy when they go home or sitting at home and watching the show, as long as each night isn't 6 hours.
They are starting early. Yeah. 6 o'clock start time Central for the shows. And I can't imagine they're going to go AEW long for those.
Well, this is two nights. They're doing one AEW pay-per-view.
Yeah, pretty much. Patrico, your excitement level?
I mean, I hate to say that I kind of mirror him, but like it's I'm very excited for 4 matches on the card, and the rest of the card, I'm like, this is a really good Raw. Parts of it. And I know that there's going to be grand spectacular entertainment when it comes to how they're coming out, what they're going to do in the match. It's going to be amplified. And I'm excited for that, but it is very mid for me. Very excited about the main events, but everything else is a really good show. Don't know if it's a Mania show, but it's a really good show.
Thomas?
I feel like I'm going to play devil's advocate here, but I'm at like a 9 right now. I think the way that they've hyped up not just the main event matches, but I mean, John Cena versus Cody Rhodes is a dream match by all regards. And I feel like when you stand the test of time in any WrestleMania matches, like the main events are going to be the ones that stand out to you. So like, yeah, like those are the focal points and those are what we're most excited for. But when we look back on these WrestleManias, those are going to be the ones that we rule whether or not it was a good WrestleMania anyways. But even some of these lower matches like Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair, like those two generally look like they want to murder each other and they have to hold them off on promos and everything. So that's a little chaotic. LA Knight and Jacob Fatu are two of my favorites, and that's for a United States Championship match. So I think there's a lot of, and Jade Cargill versus Naomi, they've built that up well. Like it feels like there's a lot of potential for not just these main event matches to be absolute bangers, but some of these lower level matches to absolutely steal the show. So that's what I'm excited for sure.
Before we get into the night one,
Whoa. Just because you're the host doesn't mean that you don't get to answer the question.
Yes.
So my reason for saying is right now, this is kind of leads into what I was going to ask the two of John and Patrico, what I was going to ask the two of you guys. What would your excitement level be if The Rock had actually shown up to any TV tapings since Elimination Chamber? Because I'm with you guys right now where my excitement level for this is, I'm very much looking forward to motherfucking CM Punk here in a bit when we talk about night one and this, and all of this. But without The Rock being here, with the big part that he played leading into Elimination Chamber and leading into this John Cena heel turn, it has taken the air out of that entire promo. We just sat here. We just finished watching SmackDown, and they're trying so hard to make it seem like John Cena's this bad guy and that we're supposed to hate him and that he and Cody Rhodes don't respect each other at all. And we're just completely just forgetting the fact outside of, fan-made promos on social media, we're forgetting that The Rock was even a part of this to begin with.
Yeah, it's to me this whole thing has never made sense. From the moment that the Rock thing happened, I was excited for the next night, and then he didn't show up. Neither of them were there, and they weren't there until the next week. And it wasn't they were there. John was there, not The Rock. And everything that John Cena said would have maybe made sense 10 to 12 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But he's been nothing but cheered every second he's been on camera since he showed back up. People want to love him for this final run. And he's cutting promos and doing a program that 10, 12 years ago, John Cena would have been awesome. It would have made sense.
It's what we wanted back then.
No sense.
That's
exactly.
That's what we wanted back then. Now it's like, it almost feels like he's using it as cheap heat, by like every other talking point that Cena had in this promo. He looked at the crowd and went, idiots, or looked at the crowd and went, we don't need you. Like, I mean, we get it, man. That's the whole thing of this heel turn, is that the fans have disrespected you. But that's bullshit, because for the past 5 years, everything John Cena has touched, he is Midas. It has turned to gold. So you can't now all of a sudden go, you guys turned your back on me 12 years ago, and I'm really mad about it. And I'm like, this works so well, even 8 years ago. This works great. But right now, it feels weird because we're saying, hey, this is it for me. I'm done. John Cena's done after this. And now we're working on cheap heat for John Cena in 2025. And it just doesn't, something is off about it. I hope tomorrow our questions are Sunday, our questions are answered. But right now, I'm not seeing it. I'm not connecting the dots here.
He did get the crowd to boo Cody tonight, though, which I think is crazy considering how over Cody has been. And I agree with you guys, like, to an extent, but also at the same time, like, if anyone's kind of able to turn those tables, and I think Triple H talked about how it's like a specific challenge for John Cena. Like, it'd be easy for him to come in and kind of do the greatest hits and play my song and, like, ride out on a unicorn and sail off and get 17 and all that stuff. But it's much more challenging for him to kind of recharacterize himself as this bad guy, like you guys are talking about. Maybe he's not selling it to everybody, but to some people he is. And that's why we're seeing the split right now of let's go Cena, Cena sucks. And I think that's helping create an atmosphere of where people aren't just, it's not just babyface versus heel, it's John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. So even people who are like, diving into the heel aspect of John Cena are like, yeah, but 20 years ago, like, he was the man. He's done so much for Make-A-Wish, and like, he's done so much throughout my course of being a wrestling fan. Like, how can I turn my back on him now? So it's like, it's this internal anguish that all these wrestling fans are dealing with that I think, like, a couple of years ago during the Vince McMahon era, it was just black and white. Like, this guy's the bad guy and this guy's the good guy. But now we've got all these different dimensions and spectrums of, well, he's a bad guy, but sometimes he's good. And he's a good guy, but sometimes he does bad things, but that's okay. And I think that added aspect to this level of WWE universe that we're seeing right now under Triple H has made it so much more entertaining.
But what the hell is the point of The Rock being part of any of this then? Like, what is if you take him out, maybe it all makes a little bit more sense. But from the moment he does the throat slash to where we are now, there's no purpose.
That is true. But I also think, like, if you think back to last WrestleMania, like, we had so many cameos of John Cena coming in, and then The Undertaker coming in, and then The Rock like coming in and being all a part of it. Maybe this WrestleMania, they're like, okay, we just hit all those buttons last year. Maybe let's pull back on that a little bit this year and kind of do a long-term play. And maybe just the whole point of The Rock being a part of that is to long-term play The Rock versus Roman eventually, 5, 10, 15 years down the road, whenever they decide to do that. But I think, that could be their thinking, is pull back on the cameos this year and let our superstars that we have in-house kind of do the talking.
And I wish at some point, because we haven't gotten The Rock, and we haven't really gotten a good explanation as to what would have happened if Cody would have accepted The Rock's offer. Then would Cody and John Cena have held hands and walked down the aisle there at Elimination Chamber? And what would the main event be? Like, when did The Rock and Cena connection come to be? Like, when was that plan all made? Like, there's this storytelling that just hasn't happened. And I think a lot of that is 100% because of the absence of The Rock. And we're told that, oh, we should just let it play out, that we need to let them do this. Because if you remember back at, was it Bad Blood in Atlanta, when The Rock showed up for the first time and did the whole 1, 2, 3 throat slash thing. And we were told, oh, this is a bit part of something big. And then it goes from October all the way to February till they do it again. And there was nothing in between. So you can't sit here and tell us that there's long-term storytelling when there's no storytelling in between. We're not getting anything out of it.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I agree. And that's where I think the disconnect goes, because yes, long-term, long playing a story, that is great. That works well. But there's got to be some context and some, hey, little blips of keep you on your seat, keep you guessing. But what we're getting right now is we're getting, hey, this is a long-term story. Stick with us. And then we're getting nothing. We're getting no updates. We're getting no, it's almost as if they're going, remember we did this, but don't focus on it. And you're like, wait a minute, how can you shove this in my face, tell me to remember it, but then tell me to kind of go, hey, it's going to happen just way down the road. You just got to suspend for a little bit. No, you can't do that, because then people start to go, like us, what the hell was that about? And that's when you start to lose people.
Let me ask all three of you this. I see this as part of the reason being that they wanted to have a baby face and a heel in the main event instead of having two baby faces. Mm-hmm. John Cena to me is super, super unique because he's at a level that nobody or very few are. And people like to have fun back and forth with booing him, cheering him. And Cody actually has a little bit of the same with that too at times, which we saw tonight on SmackDown.
Yep.
Are you more excited about this match because they have John Cena playing heel? Or would that really matter with this? Could you be just as excited? 'Cause to me, the way this is right now loses something. I want John Cena, the superstar, megastar, iconic John Cena, not whiny, cryny, frowny face, sad face, walk out all the time John Cena. Like, this match is not one of my top 2 or maybe even 3 matches I'm looking forward to, because it doesn't make any sense. And it feels less than because we don't get monster John Cena.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. For John Cena, for anybody to break the record and get the 17th title, you want them to be over. You want the crowd to love it. You don't want to be
celebrated.
Yeah. It needs to be celebrated the way that Cody's championship was won last year. And maybe they don't pull the trigger on it then because of that. And I mean, it's something we can talk about when we make predictions later on, but it's just one of those, it just wouldn't feel right if he won this in this current character.
Yeah, you're right. I want to see the John Cena that I grew up watching. And yes, at times went, I'm so sick of this shtick. I can't take it anymore. He just needs to go away. But then 2 years down the road, I'm going, God, John Cena's awesome. I just absolutely love it. That's the John Cena I want. I want him to come sprinting down the ring. I think it's ridiculous that it's WrestleMania, his last one, main eventing, and he's not going to talk to the camera guy. That's ridiculous in my eyes. That is the John Cena I want. I want that cartoon character John Cena to go down to the ring and face the good guy Cody Rhodes, and it wouldn't matter to me in the world if it was 2 heels, a terrible heel and a great baby face. Doesn't matter. John Cena versus Cody Rhodes, the names alone sell that match. You don't have to put any gimmicks behind it. Just get me a really good wrestling match with the John Cena I love and the Cody Rhodes who's the champ right now.
I feel like I'm the odd man out here, but I feel like the comparison has been made, or at least I keep seeing it online about when Hogan turned heel. So it's kind of like almost like a where were you moment kind of thing for like when John Cena turned heel. And I'll get to say that I was at Backlash and I got to see him live when he was like a villain. And like, yeah, like I've watched him over the course of like my years being a WWE fan and seeing all the greatest hits and doing the song and like doing this to my friends and doing the moves to my brothers off the couch and all that stuff. But it's just to be able to live live, like a different experience that even some people in their lifetime never got to witness, I think is special for me. So be able to tell my kids whenever they're WWE fans, like, oh yeah, John Cena was arguably one of the biggest baby faces in the history of the company for like 20 plus years. And then 1 year on his retirement tour, he decided to just flip it all on his head. And I was there to see it live and watch it happen, like every moment of it. It was awesome. And I think that is super special to me. So I'm loving it right now.
If I go to Backlash May 10th and he comes out with his whimper face, I'm going to be pissed. not heel pissed. Not like, oh, he's the bad guy pissed. Like Jeff Jarrett in the NWO wearing the heavyweight championship belt changed the channel pissed.
It's like Kiss. It's like Kiss legit doing a farewell tour, but only playing acoustic with no makeup. That's what this feels like.
And we're only going to play our new shit today.
Yeah.
Which, you know what? I mean, I'm kind of worried about it. If you listen to the promo, Cody sitting out there telling John Cena he can't wrestle. I'm afraid that tomorrow, that Sunday night, we get John Cena trying to wrestle, not just pull out the 5 moves of doom and be done with it. It was cool at WrestleMania in, what was it, 31? That was cool when he tried to do the stunner off the ropes and everything, his match against Rusev. That was fun. That was 10 years ago. John Cena and his hairline can't do that kind of stuff anymore.
No.
So,
that was a shot at Thomas. That's not very nice.
That was not a shot at Thomas, who, if you're watching this right now, Saturday afternoon, Thomas has no hair anymore to a bet he made with himself that the Blues would not make the post. Nobody dared him to do it.
But you were so close to winning that bet too.
So if you're watching this, check out, pause it for a second, go to the Sports Hub STL socials and see Thomas bald if you're watching this at any point Saturday afternoon or beyond. Backlash is going to be in St. Louis May 10th, and that's the next pay-per-view a few weeks after WrestleMania this weekend. Let's get into night one.
Hold on, real fast, Joe, real fast. Before you move, I apologize. I do want to ask a question. 2 weeks ago, I sent you a text, if you recall, when John Cena and Cody finally had a promo that I actually liked, where Cena was just spitting truth after truth after truth after truth, and the crowd started turning a little bit. And then we saw it again tonight. And I want all three of you, do you think that by the end, there is a possibility, intentional or not, probably unintentional, that John Cena ends up being the one getting cheered over the last half or quarter of the match, and Cody Rhodes gets booed out of the building?
Yes, and those two in the ring would be able to call something like that on their own, I think.
But they're supposed to still be heel, and they're supposed to still be what they are right now. But the crowd decides, screw everything you want us to do. This is what we want to do.
It turns into Rock. It turns into Rock Hogan.
Yes.
It turns into Rock Hogan, and the crowd makes the decision. And during the match in the ring, the two go, okay, we see where this is going. Let's make you, Cena, look like the hero here. And I think this match is going to, and I don't want to get too much into it, but this match is going to heavily rely on Cody Rhodes. And it's going to be how he runs this match. And I think that's going to determine if this goes out as a fantastic match or a big old letdown.
That's what I think is awesome, though. Like, how often do you see something like Rock Hogan like happen again? You know, so like just an instance of that, like, you know, them having, if they do have to call their shots or even call the finish based off of the crowd's reaction, like that's just another added element of like these two superstars being at the height of their craft. So I think that would also just be sweet to watch.
That match will be the main event on night 2 of WrestleMania. We'll get more into night 2 in just a bit. But night 1, we know the main event is the triple threat. And for me, that's the one I'm looking forward to, the match I'm looking forward to more than any other on the card. But quickly, the night 1 card, it is Jade Cargill versus Naomi, the World Tag Team Championship match, the War Raiders against the New Day, the U.S. Championship match, LA Knight against Jacob Fatu, Tiffany Stratton against Charlotte Flair for the WWE Women's Championship, Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano, and then the World Heavyweight Championship match, Gunther versus Jey Uso. That's we're told every year the winner of the Royal Rumble gets to main event WrestleMania, and this year neither one of the Royal Rumble winners, men or women, are main eventing either night of WrestleMania. So let's start with the winner of the men's Royal Rumble, Jey Uso against Gunther, a match that we've already seen this year, a match that we saw, or was it December when we saw that match at Saturday night's main event, maybe testing the waters to see if the crowd would like it and see if Jey Uso was ready for that main event picture, the surprise winner of the Royal Rumble this year. And I have been a fan of the buildup for this. What about you guys?
Tony, I'll let you start.
Yeah, absolutely a fan of the buildup. I do think, and I really do like Jey Uso getting a little serious. The yeet is all fun, the coming through the crowd, the having everybody do it. It's great. But Jey Uso is a really, really good personality. Jey Uso can do the yeet and can also get serious. So I do like that turn. I do like that focus on that, especially bringing Jimmy into the mix. I think that's great too. However, you will destroy Gunther and everything that you've done to him thus far if you have him lose clean to Jey Uso at WrestleMania. I listen, I love Jey Uso as the character. I love him. I want him to have the belt, but not this weekend. I don't think it's the right move. I think it's Gunther by a million.
So does Gunther have to squash him then, in your opinion?
No. He doesn't have to squash him. I think a match is fine. I think if Jey wants to do something that gets him off his feet, maybe, take it outside the ring, that's great. But the one thing I don't want to see is Jey Uso spear him, come off the top ropes, and pin him for the 1, 2, 3. Because I think it not only destroys all of the storytelling that they've done up to this, but what it also does is ruin Gunther. What do you do with him after that? There's nothing you can do. He's this unstoppable force. And then Jey Uso, who he beat and destroyed earlier, now all of a sudden gets one over on him clean. I don't want to see that. I just don't want to see it.
Yeah, I think it'll be an awesome match. I think the fact that they're going to open the show is genius. I think everybody believed they were going to open the show. There's nobody else who should open the show, any show, but Jey Uso, because he can get that crowd in a place that nobody else is able to do it. People love Jey Uso as he's chasing and he's fighting and clawing. But will people pay money to go watch Jey Uso defend a championship? That's the thing that I struggle with. Will they pay to watch babyface Jey Uso defend a championship? I don't think so. I don't know. I'm with Tony. I think Gunther should go out and beat him, because I think that guy is your megastar. He is your next guy for Cody Rhodes. If he is the guy who walks out of there on Sunday night, he's that next super heel that can go and challenge for the world championship. Now, if you're going to turn Jey Uso heel by the end of the weekend or the end of that night, and you're going to put that championship on him, then you can do it. And he will become the absolute most hated, despised person in that whole company instantly. And
how do you turn him heel? How do you turn him heel?
It sounds to me like, John, you've been digging deep into the internet and seeing the same conspiracy theories that I have.
How do you you turn him?
I don't send you these because I figure that.
Oh, no, I haven't. I've been thinking about this for like 3 weeks.
Okay.
Because you can.
I haven't sent them to you because I figured you would think they were ridiculous. I love the shirt, by the way. Thank you very much for the.
I forgot.
Yeah.
This is Joe. This is a throwback.
Yeah, what a rush podcast. Yeah.
Yes.
In Chicago.
Yes. Uncle Animal. I love it.
We're hitting Animal and Joe at the same time.
Oh, I love it.
It was either that or I was going to get a punk shirt. It was one of the two.
So, how do you turn him? How does he turn?
It's easy. It's easy how you turn him.
It's really easy.
Okay, the first Raw on Netflix. Who did Jey Uso come out with?
I don't even know. Oh yeah, with Travis. Yeah, exactly. With Travis.
Travis Scott. No, who was last time we saw Travis Scott? Who was he with?
Yeah, The Rock.
He was with The Rock and Cena.
Yeah.
So you could do him one of two ways. You could do it one of two ways. Let me talk. I know you're all excited. All right, so one of two ways. One, what you're saying, do it on Sunday night with The Rock and Cena and find a way to tie that all together at least a little bit. Okay, that's one way. 3 weeks ago, Joe texted me about the Dangerous Alliance. You can bring Jey Uso at the end of Saturday night out and have him turn on Roman and join Seth and Paul Heyman.
Woo! Okay. See, and if that happens, then I go
Holy
back
shit.
and I go, I am ready to eat crow. And I will be the first to admit it. And I'll be like, that was awesome. Well done. You pulled the, one over on me. I never saw it coming. That's the type of shit that why I am still a wrestling fan, 40 years old, because I want that to happen. That is exactly what I'm looking for. So if they do that, I'm all in. I don't care what happens the rest of the week.
Thomas right now Googling the Dangerous Alliance.
And let me say this: there's no they can't put a Dangerous Alliance together as cool as the old versions of the Dangerous Alliance.
I do think though, like this is a stereotypical like archetype David versus Goliath battle, right? Like we've seen Jey like think he's coming close and then he loses again, and then like Gunther's just beating him down, and then like the bloodbath that he keeps talking about is just like he can't get over the hump, he's getting in his head and all these things, right? And so like at the end of David versus Goliath, David obviously wins, but what better way for like this streamline of a story than for Jey Uso to beat Gunther, and then like we're talking about, okay, who's a bigger Goliath than Gunther? Oh, none other than Roman Reigns, who I was a member of the Bloodline with. Like, what's a better instance of David overcoming Goliath than circling back on that? So I agree with you guys, like long-term story play, and really even bringing Fatu into the fold. Like I do think there's more tendrils that Jey Uso could potentially have his fingers on in terms of a story. If he's holding the belt, then potentially Gunther, even though I do think, like you guys have said, Gunther is definitely a talent. And really, like my biggest knock on him throughout watching him so far has been his promos. But throughout this run with Jey Uso, he's just completely turned that on a 180. I mean, his mic work has been insane. So I don't think there's really a loser here either way. Like even if Jey Uso beats Gunther, I think Gunther is going to be fine. You could just be like, oh, like Gunther's still one of the premier superstars in the WWE. He just has like an Achilles heel, and it is Jey Uso. Like you could run that story too. So I think either way you're good, but I do think there's potential for more storylines and to get a little juicier with Jey Uso. Plus his marketability towards the kids, I think just spells dollar signs for Triple H. So that helps too.
So, hey, would you be upset? Would anybody be upset if all of a sudden Jey Uso comes out, crowd goes bananas, he comes through the crowd, whoever celebrity is with him, Gunther comes down, 2 minutes, destroys him, over, Gunther walks out with the belt? I'm the type of person, I love it. Love that. That would be awesome.
I just
completely just deflate him. Goodbye. Get out. Oh, God, I would love it.
I'm looking at the card here, and I don't know what you put on next.
It would not go well at Joe's house.
I don't know what you put on next after you kill the crowd like that.
Yeah.
What do you put on next either way?
Yeah, either way, you're tough.
Next is screwed.
Okay, you put up after that, you put up Mysterio and El Grande Americano. There you go. Get the crowd back into it. You'll get them that way.
I think that's the only way that you crush Jey, to be honest. Like all the way that you've built up this crowd hype and everything, like every conversation that he's had with Jimmy is like, hey, you got to lock in. Like your mind's not in it. Like, you know, all these things, like, I believe in you. I got to believe in myself. I'm going to go out there and do it. And for him to lose a minute flat to Gunther, I think would just, I mean, he goes from 100 to like 12 at that point. So
El Grande Americano would be the answer, by the way. That as I look through it, bringing El Grande Americano out there afterwards. And I hope he has one of the most elaborate entrances of all of wrestling. Like they have to go so big and beyond with El Grande Americano tomorrow or Saturday at WrestleMania to just put this so over the top and just make it as ridiculous as possible.
Make it fun.
Please make it the funnest moment.
Because on SmackDown tonight, it looked like Rey Mysterio was getting treated to by doctors, and he was like limping back up the ramp after the match, but they like weren't showing him on camera, but you could see him in the background. So it didn't look like it was like part of the story. Like it looked like he was genuinely hurt. So I'll be interested to see how they kind of navigate that for sure.
The beauty of that though is it doesn't matter which luchador El Grande Americano ends up facing. If they need to make a switch to Rey Fenix or Dragon Lee or anybody else, it's the story here is not Rey Mysterio.
Right.
The story here is
If they're
is
gonna
that
have
you have
fun
a
with
brand
the
new
masks,
luchador that we haven't seen, you know, in any other company before a few weeks ago, just come on the scene over in Europe and make a splash the way he has to get a title match or to get a WrestleMania match as quickly as El Grande Americano has.
I just hope he's wearing like 4 masks.
Oh, I hope he puts pyro in the mask for the entrance. Just
should
do
have one
it.
of the best entrance.
4 masks would be
Of
great.
the
Like
night.
they keep unmasking him, and there's just another one under there. Oh, that'd be hilarious. Oh, that'd be awesome.
Thomas, the one you
Yeah,
were
that-
texting about with us earlier, the match on the card, and the one that you said earlier you were really looking forward to is that women's championship match, Tiffany Stratton against Charlotte Flair, the one that kind of took on a little bit of real life a few weeks ago with their promo, and anything to make Charlotte interesting is fine with me.
Yeah, I mean, I just thought, like, initially, I think it was a couple weeks ago, but when they did that side-by-side video promo and they had like the middleman in between there, it felt like Charlotte was going off script and trying to like catch Tiffany and try to like trip her over her words, or like if they had a script, she was going off script just to try to like show her like, hey, you're not top dog if you can't like, you know, freestyle a little bit. So I immediately, like, I think Tiffany Stratton is awesome, and the fact that she's so young and what she's accomplished so far, like, obviously she's got some things to like figure out, but I think she's got all the potential in the world to be one of the premier superstars in the WWE. So when I saw that, I was like, that's kind of messed up of Charlotte to come back, get spoon-fed the Royal Rumble, and then just like throw her under the bus like that. So then when she came out and started bringing up the 0-3 and the divorces and stuff, I was like, double hands on the head. Like, I don't think that was supposed to happen. And then, yeah, things just spiraled from there. But the rhetoric online is like, I think Seth Rollins talked in a podcast too. Like, that's the nature of the business. Like, if you're going to market your match however you can and build hype however you can, sometimes personal things roll into that. We've seen that with John Cena. We've seen that with Seth Rollins and multiple superstars. And you got to have thick skin in the business. And if Charlotte Flair doesn't have thick skin by now, she's got to figure it out. So,
Well, there's also with that company, it's business first, business second. Your personal stuff doesn't matter. And this is what separates what the biggest separation between the two companies, between AEW and WWE. If something like that happens in AEW, God knows what happens. The match may not happen at that point. Happens in this company, whether we don't know because they don't let you know. It's like, okay, cool, that happened. Now we're going to blow it up and make it 100 times bigger. And that's what they do really, really well. And everybody just knows, I don't have to like you. We can hate each other, but we're going to go in the ring and make a ton of money. And that's all that matters. And I love it. I'm so excited for this match because I have no idea what's going to happen, because I have no idea what's real, what isn't real, and how they're going to handle it. And for two talents to be able to go in and have a match like this, they could have all kinds of fun. I mean, they could just scrap for 10 minutes and people are going to love it. Just wrestle around and throw punches and push and shove and pull hair. And it's the only time that everybody's going to be like, yes, this is awesome. Because I think they're really doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Will Charlotte Flair allow that kind of match, though?
I think she'll allow whatever it takes to have the best Mania match ever. Whatever makes sense for the story is what matters. She's into making money. Look at who her father is. She was raised to just make money. That's what she's there for. And whatever will make the most money is what a very good professional wrestler is going to do. Whether they want to do it or not doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think for me that this match went from something that I was like, okay, that's a match at WrestleMania. Okay, it's for the championship. She won the Rumble. She gets it. And then 0-3 immediately went, ooh, I'm in. I'm in. Because again, it really toes that line of, okay, she laid that punch in pretty hard. Okay, all right. That was a real one. That was a good one. And then you also have that unpredictability. Is this going to go off the rails? Because that would rule. So like it definitely brought me in a lot more. Not like I was like, I don't care about this match, but it definitely brought it up for me to go, yep, the interest is rising now, because once you put into that real world, is this real? Is this part of it? Is this not? It immediately makes the interest for me skyrocket.
The other women's match on the card for that night one, Jade Cargill versus Naomi. We can skip right by that. The tag team match. I don't know what to expect out of War Raiders versus the New Day. Just a way to get that tag title match on the card. as entertaining as the heel New Day has been, there's not a whole lot that's getting my interest up in this match. LA Knight, Jacob Fatu. Are you surprised this is the route they went with Jacob Fatu?
I'm so confused by this because you built Jacob Fatu with the bloodline to be almost an unstoppable monster who within the blink of an eye can cause the most chaos ever. I know that this is a step to put a title on him. Okay. Give him this, see how the crowd reacts to him being somebody that's wearing it out every night, see how he handles it. Good, great. But it just, this all doesn't make sense to me. And then the funniest thing to me is watching SmackDown tonight. I forgot about Solo Sikoa. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, there he is. Oh, like they dropped the ball when it comes to, splitting up and separating the bloodline. I don't think anybody can argue about that, but it just doesn't make sense for me here with this direction for Fatu. I wish they just would have put him almost in a Braun Breaker position. Just have him go out there and just be a menace and a monster, and people will flock to it. But I just don't get this route.
Well, like an impressive way. If they would have put the Andre Battle Royal at WrestleMania and just had Fatu destroy everybody, that would have put him in a better light than just a one-on-one match in something like this. Like
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, it's weird that I can't tell if they want him to be a babyface or if they want him to be a heel.
Yeah, lack of direction.
If you put him in that battle, you put him in that.
I think they were trying to make him
in that battle royal. You can't. Like, he's too fun to watch.
Right.
Yeah, he disappeared.
And then when he opens his mouth, it's just you sit there and you're just locked in on every word because he's legit crazy.
He feels real.
Yes.
Like he doesn't feel like he's playing a crazy person. Like if you saw him out, like that might be exactly how he is.
Yeah. Exactly.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. When I get fired up in the gym, sometimes I just do like the Fatu shake. Just because I'm like, he's so awesome, dude. Every time he does it, I'm just like, God, what an electric factory of a human being. But yeah, I don't know that you can even make him a heel because, like we were talking about, like when you were bringing him up with the bloodline and Solo Sikoa's like enforcer, he was supposed to be that heel. Like he's the adversary, and the whole time everybody's just like, Fatu's the man, dude. So it's like. At this point, I think they're just like, he has to be like, we have to make him a baby face. But I think this is kind of serving two purposes for them because LA Knight he's been in and around the United States belt theme or scene for a while now. And he's just been crushing. Like he's been going up against Shinsuke Nakamura and like Carmelo Hayes and Andrade. He fought Carmelo Hayes and Andrade like 7 different times. I'm like, dude, like, I get there's nobody really else in that like level right now, but like we got to switch it up a little bit. So I think this is their attempt of being like, okay, let's bring Jacob Fatu into the fold and kind of elevate this level of match. And if Fatu wins, I think kind of like what you were talking about, like he gets some experience with the belt. We see how the crowd reacts, all those things. But I think that also gives the opportunity to LA Knight to kind of hand off the baton to Fatu. Then you can have Fatu be the United States Championship and be the United States champion, just absolutely run the gauntlet of people and have like, a 300-day title reign or whatever you want to do because he's a monster. But then that kind of frees up LA Knight to go after a bigger belt, which I think he's kind of had aspirations on too. So maybe they're trying to kill 2 birds with 1 stone there.
Main event time for night 1 of WrestleMania. They have done an outstanding job of pulling off a triple threat match with no title on the line and making you buy into every element of this storyline that they have written for CM Punk versus Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns main eventing another WrestleMania. CM Punk main eventing his first WrestleMania, and Paul Heyman in the corner of CM Punk due to the favor that he was owed for being on the team at Survivor Series War Games. The way that they have gone about this has been perfection so far. Every step of the way, spreading it out over 2 different shows. I have loved all of it as long as CM Punk doesn't win the match on Saturday.
Why do you hate CM Punk so much? Your hate is just, it's like Young Bucks level hate for CM Punk.
It goes back to taking his ball and going home when things weren't going his way 10 years ago, and then showing up and thinking he was on top of the world in AEW.
He was.
And the way he ended with that, wanting everything to go his way and not being able to play nice with others, and then just stepping in back into WWE. And the way that he did that immediately in the main event. Again, I did not need any return of CM Punk in any capacity at any point. None of this was necessary in my wrestling fandom.
How over do you have to be, though, to get CM Punk chance while you're at a different company? Like, that's pretty crazy. That's actually wild.
Yeah. That's the closest thing today to when you had NWO shirts at Raw and they had to physically go out in the crowd and give them WWE shirts to take them off. That's as close as you can get these days. But I mean, look, yes, the CM Punk then and the CM Punk now are two different people, completely different people. In the interviews that the thing with Triple H recently, talking about them having collaborations, and the Punk was unhappy, but he was going to do whatever he was told. No, that stuff doesn't happen years ago, and him being able to play nice with others. Maybe that's more about the way the company was run at AEW than it was about CM Punk not being able to play nice with others. I mean, you see some of the childish shit that's gone on over there.
I was going to say, it's still happening over there. It's still happening over there.
And you're going to blame the guy who is, I mean, like, the two biggest people who Tony Khan pushed out of that company are main eventing night 1 and night 2 of WrestleMania. Is that their problem or these guys' problem who are playing nice in the biggest company in the world on the biggest stage?
I'm looking here. I'm just making sure I get my dates and my cities right for this, because CM Punk returned August of 2021 for the in this when he came back. I talked to Seth Rollins in 2022, in February of 2022 on Radio Row at the Super Bowl, and that was when he initially then just talked all kinds of shit on CM Punk and talked about how he was bad for business. And this was in 2021 when CM Punk made his return to AEW. And we were talking about CM Punk then, and Seth Rollins just openly talking just hatred for him with absolute zero idea, zero plan of him ever coming back to the company of the WWE, which when you saw his reaction at Survivor Series back in 2023 when he made his return, I mean, we're sitting here talking about Charlotte and Tiffany, how real that is, and how what we think about that. Seth Rollins knows what's best for business. Seth Rollins might be one of the best company men that the WWE has ever had in the 40 plus years that they've been around. I don't think he likes CM Punk at all, and he is very much doing this for the money this weekend.
Oh, agreed. I think there is some disdain there for sure, especially, and I noticed it almost immediately. They showed the people that were in the ring when CM Punk walked out and did his whole spiel, and everybody else was like, oh. And you look at Rollins, and Rollins damn near eye rolled to where his eyes rolled in the back of his head a couple different times, and you could truly see that he was like, great. Okay. Yep. Get it. But when it comes to this match, you cannot sit there and tell me that these three guys, okay, let's say Punk's out of the mix here. Who do you put in that third guy to make this match, quote unquote, better, or, something more that's must watch? You can't. These three guys in this match to main event night 1 is the absolute perfect choice, because the number one thing I'm going into this match thinking is, what is the next favor that has to be, granted? What is that, now Seth Rollins didn't curb stomp him. Is that now he's got a favor here? He's going to throw him. What's going to happen? All I know is that the storytelling has been phenomenal. All of them, with their delivery, with the way they've interacted with each other, with the way that they've handled this on social media, has all been so great that it's hard to not be excited about this match. It's very difficult to not be excited.
Yeah, my biggest concern with this match was it's Roman Reigns, who's like one of the alphas of the company. So I'm like, obviously it'd be sick if he wins. CM Punk, who, everybody's kind of split 50-50 about, but it does seem like the crowd is kind of very much on his side. And even going back to the Royal Rumble when he kind of got injured and screwed out of that whole ordeal, like he's kind of rising back into his main event situation and taking advantage of that. But throughout the course of this, I was like, what is the like, why would I want Seth Rollins to win? Like, he just kind of like, obviously he's got the Shield ties with Roman Reigns and has a thick rivalry, like we've talked about with CM Punk, but it doesn't really seem like him winning benefits the situation going forward at all. And then the last 2 or 3 weeks or so, he's been like, the future of the WWE rides on this triple threat match because Roman Reigns is gone all the time and CM Punk can leave at any time he wants because he's already shown us that he has. And I was like, fuck, you got me. So that's where I'm at right now. Like you said, Joe, like they've hit it from all angles, and now I'm like, if anybody wins, like I'm in. So it's perfect.
CM Punk has carried this company for 5-6 years. The whole time Roman was the longest reigning champ of this era, Seth Rollins was the guy that was showing up week after week after week after week, putting his body through so many of you saw. I mean, we saw how broken he was at the end of last year, at WrestleMania last year, when he had to take time off afterwards. And you look at some of the other stories that he's gone through, and you look at some of the matches that he's had. Seth Rollins is the face of this company. He's not the biggest star in the company, but he is that go-to guy that they have relied on for several years now. And him getting a win in this match it's owed to him, really.
I don't think the winner of the match matters. Because whatever happens
right.
I
was going to ask that. And
yeah, whatever happens after the
match
match
right now.
Whatever happens after the match, that's the story. There's way more. This is a match to get to the story. That's what at least that's the way that I see this. This is way more than just one match, one night. This is going to be something big is going to happen at the end of it. Whether it's my theory or anybody else's theories, the match itself is going to be fun. It's got so many personal angles to it. And I did want to say with one thing on with the Rollins stuff, from that timeline from Joe's interview to when he's walking out at Survivor Series, and they are all told before they go out that afterwards CM Punk is coming out. So they all know before they go to the ring that that's going to happen. And he is smart enough to know, okay, I have done nothing but talk shit about this guy for a few years, and this moment's going to happen. And the most memorable thing after Punk coming out is Seth throwing a tantrum.
Yeah.
He is that smart. Yeah. I mean, he's like, okay, he's got to work with somebody, and they haven't decided yet because he just got here like 10 minutes ago. And they have no idea what they're going to do, so I'm going to make something for them. And he's made more money with CM Punk than anybody in this company since he returned. He's really, really smart. I just hope that we come out of the night with the stupid shit character gone and new music. That's all I ask for.
John, I texted you about this earlier in the week, so I'll ask Thomas and I'll ask Patrico get their thoughts on what I think is the greatest rivalry in WWE history is Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. The greatest feud in WWE history, in wrestling history, between those two, for how long they have carried it out and the way that they continue to put in those wrinkles now for a dozen years.
You think it's stronger than Sting versus the NWO?
We said in WWE.
Oh, okay.
I'll go wrestling, because how long did Sting and NWO? How long did that go for? Because right now we're on
over
year 12.
A year.
We're on year 12 now of Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns hating each other.
Okay, so you're looking at the from existence here, like
yes,
everything. I mean, it's off the top of my head. It's tough to think of one. It's really tough to think of one, and it's even tougher to think of one that has been done this well, to where,
let me ask you
were continuously thinking about it. Every time something happens, even if they're not in the matches with each other, something happens to where you go, "Ooh, I remember when the Shield and this happened and they had this and this, and you're starting to puzzle it and piece it together. So I don't know. I mean, you might be right there. I can't come up with a good argument for you.
Quick question. Can you call it that if it's never, ever main evented one of these major pay-per-views?
Yeah. Just a
Rock
rivalry. They hate each other.
But how can it be? How great is it if they're never fighting for anything?
They haven't gotten to that point yet.
Okay, well, when they get to that point, then maybe we could have that discussion. But like Rock and Austin,
they main event. Are you just talking about the main eventing WrestleMania? Because they main evented. They wrestled each other at the Royal Rumble here in St. Louis.
Yes, they did, and there was a match to get to another match to get to the other match.
Right. But they still sprinkled in the old stuff with Seth Rollins having somebody drive up to Iowa the day before to get his Shield gear and bring it back so he could walk through the crowd through the Shield music.
Yeah, no, I think that it's a fun rivalry that's gone on for a long time. And it has those fun elements because they have such a personal connection and so many things that they can call back to. But any kind of I don't look at it as some sort of a blood feud that has been going on for a long time, battling for a championship. To me, you have to be at that level for it to be, one of the greatest or the greatest rivalry of all time.
Yeah. Joe. So when they do the next season of This Is Awesome or whatever show, where any type of WWE list show, and they say the top 10 greatest feuds, you think this gets mentioned?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Because they only do the last 15 years.
Yeah.
I do think the philosophy has kind of changed though, because like, I feel like in terms of like feuds, like a duo that would just always put on bangers would just be like Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker, but it's not really like it's not like Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins isn't like the same dynamic or the same degree, and they don't always just go back to the well and they're like, oh, if we need like a 5-star match, we'll just throw out like Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. And I feel like not that they spammed it all the time, but they did it more often with The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, as opposed to this, where they're kind of doing a slow build towards like this all encapsulating, like we know what's going to happen eventually, kind of like Jade Cargill and Bianca. Like we know at some point, like that's going to happen. And the more that they pull it out and draw it out, the more impactful it's going to be when that one event happens, as opposed to it happening 7 times in 7 years.
And they just, the way they just kind of weave it. I mean, they're both on their separate shows. They're going their own way. And then suddenly they'll cross paths and it's like, oh yeah, I fucking hate you. I fucking hate you too. And then they go back their own way. And then they come back again. But somebody hits the other one in the back with a chair. And it's like, oh yeah, remember when you did that to me first? And they just weave it back and forth. So they don't need to have them at each other. Like Shawn Michaels and Undertaker, I feel like they didn't hate each other.
Right.
They didn't. These two, they make it seem like they just hate each other, to where Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker, it was more of a respect thing of, hey, we were the two guys that were here for the entire Monday Night Wars, and we're the two, at that time, they were the last two remaining when it was all said and done.
Those two was, we are fighting, and we are fighting the hardest to find out who's the best. Yeah. With this, it feels like I'm gonna beat the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's what it feels like at times. It really and especially if you guys watched the video promo that they showed near the end of SmackDown, that, they had that Machine Head song playing and everything. I watched that and I went, if somebody came to me and said, hey, real quick, give me a 2-minute rundown of what to expect from the main event, I would show them that and they would go, shit, I gotta watch that, because it makes you believe that all three of these people despise the shit out of each other.
Show of hands, is there anybody that thinks that this match does not end with Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins teaming up together? We all think Paul Heyman double crosses both Roman and CM Punk.
Well, at least Seth and Heyman are together. We'll just leave it at that. Then if another one of them is with him, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I will put my hand up and say that I think for sure Paul's not ending up with Roman Reigns after this match. I don't know if it's CM Punk or if it's Seth Rollins.
I think Paul Heyman, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, surprise appearance from Gene Ambrose coming down from the crowd. No, I think Paul sticks with Seth here because, I mean, let's really look at it. We've seen Paul Heyman, CM Punk. We've seen Paul Heyman, Roman Reigns. What would be interesting for Paul Heyman? Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins on paper are completely opposite sides of where I would put them. Never would I go, yeah, let's throw them together. You put them together, I think it's very interesting. I think it's intriguing, and I think it brings me back on Monday going, where are they going to go with this? So I definitely think that happens, and I would not be surprised if we see a Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman, something coming together that way.
Night 2 of WrestleMania, another 6 matches listed on the card. Would assume that the Randy Orton Open Challenge also ends up on night 2. Is there anything on this night 2 card that you guys are looking forward to before we get to the Rhodes and John Cena?
One.
Okay.
Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest. Anytime Drew McIntyre is in any type of street fight / brawl / this, I'm interested. I think, and especially if you watched any of the kickoff shows today, he is beyond over right now, and especially with this crowd in Vegas. So I am excited to see that. I don't think it's going to be anything spectacular from a wrestling side of thing. I just know Damian Priest will do what it takes to make the match look good. And I know Drew McIntyre is willing to beat the hell out of somebody. And I think that match is going to be something that is really a sleeper on the card. And I'm hoping will pay off and really stand out on a night 2 that is kind of a little lackluster.
I like the Fatal 4-Way a lot, just because it feels like they've been kind of teasing like Finn and Dominic having trouble in the Judgment Day, and it feels like something's got to give there, and one of them could potentially be turning babyface. But it really just kind of spells like all of these superstars that are, even Penta, which is crazy because he just made his debut not too long ago, but like they're on the cusp of like reaching that next level kind of. And this Fatal 4-Way match can potentially propel any of them into the next level of like superstars in the WWE. I mean, Dominic Mysterio's had arguably the most heat in the entire company for the longest time. He hasn't even had to wrestle matches. He just comes out, puts a microphone up, doesn't have to speak, and he's getting crazy pops. So like putting a belt on him, I think would be awesome. Obviously, Braun Breaker is one of the up and coming studs of the entire company. Penta's been fantastic, and if they want to do marketing in Mexico, he's a great way to do that as well. And then you also have Finn Balor there. So I don't know who's going to win, but it doesn't feel like there's a wrong answer there for me. For Finn, it feels like if you put the belt on him, then it kind of creates a shift with Dominic, and then that has a domino effect. It wouldn't necessarily be like, oh, Finn Balor's now like the greatest superstar in WWE, but like the implications that would come with that and the stories that come with that, I think would be impactful. So I'm excited to see who wins that match for sure.
If you have a chance before WrestleMania Saturday, go back and watch Braun Breaker. He does the Steiner Math promo for this match. And
does he really?
It is spectacular.
With also, they are on an open stage. There is no script in front of him.
Right.
The fact that first his uncle and now him can memorize these numbers and these lines the way they do and deliver it the way they did, it is really, really well done.
Oh, it's a great slow build because you didn't know it was coming, because he was talking about, I got a 25% chance with 4 people. And then he goes, but you take him out and I got a 33.2. And everybody was like, yes.
I know Logan Paul is also in night 2, but the way that they have been building up Braun Breaker week after week with stuff, I feel like Braun Breaker has the chance to do something in this match that's going to be the viral moment of WrestleMania. The spear that he gave Carlito 2 weeks ago, the torpedo spear, whatever you want, however you want to describe that. Yeah, I do think that Braun Breaker is going to do something on Sunday that is going to that you're just going to see all over your Twitter timeline?
Sunday, I'm most looking forward to Penta's entrance.
I think they add 3 times more pyro every time. It's insane.
They're gonna do this. This is gonna be like the biggest middle finger to AEW you've ever seen.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait.
Like, hey guys, look what you could be. And also the women's match. Actually, I'm intrigued and excited to see because Bianca Belair is getting booed like crazy.
Yeah.
And how the whole thing is going to work with Io Sky. Like, to me, Io has to win, and she has to overcome all of them who have just been pushing her to the side like it doesn't matter. And her entrance, too, could be amazing because it's already amazing as it is.
Yeah.
On a normal night. But now you add in the WrestleMania part of it with her being a champion. How that whole thing shakes out. And watching Bianca Belair on SmackDown, not knowing, again, for some reason, if there's these talents, they're just if the crowd makes a decision that they don't like, you can just see deer in the headlights. Like,
yeah, they immediately get handcuffed.
Now, but then you watch Cody deal with it, and Cody's like, "Fuck you! I'm just gonna go through and barrel through.
Yeah.
I'll get you back in about 30 seconds."
Yeah. That match, the women's triple threat match, they announced at the kickoff show on Friday that will be kicking, or I think on Pat McAfee's show, I think they announced it. That's going to be kicking off night 2 of WrestleMania. So you will get those. You will get Rhea Ripley's entrance. You'll get Io Sky's entrance to kick off the second night of WrestleMania, and those 2 alone should get the crowd definitely up for the rest of that night. I mentioned Logan. Logan Paul is a guy too that I feel like has just kind of fallen off on the wayside. And all of that. Usually Logan Paul match gets so much buildup. You know it's going to be a good match with AJ Styles. But it just feels like one of those, we have to get him on here. We have to get him a match, to where I kind of, and this is a little conspiracy theory thinking in all of this. Thomas, you're mentioning the change in direction for a guy like Finn Balor. You need something with AJ Styles. Cody, I think, needs a different direction. I think WWE Bullet Club's coming sooner than later.
Really?
They can't use
You
the name.
think? As I say, they can't be the Bullet Club. So are they just going to put them together and call them the BC Disciples?
They've tried that before, and if they're going to put them together as a group, they're going to have to do something about a name, because they've tried this a couple times, and the OC doesn't work.
Yeah, no.
And what was the BC, the Balor Club didn't work.
Yeah.
Using BC to get up against Bullet Club. I don't know how they can do it.
It is strange though, like kind of what you were mentioning, Joe. Like the build with AJ and Logan has just been, it feels like lackluster, which is interesting because, like, obviously all of the WWE superstars are like massive, but in terms of like a global impact and like celebrity status, it feels like Logan kind of like lets them step outside that realm a little bit more, like internationally. So like you would think he'd kind of, not that he's going to be in the main event of WrestleMania every year, but you would think he'd be like more of a focal point in terms of like a marketing aspect than he was like so far. And like I said, this beef with AJ, like, I mean, I will say Logan Paul's new finisher, awesome, huge fan. And the fact that it's called the Pulverizer, so sick. I don't know how many people he can hit it on, but the fact that AJ's able to take it is awesome. So that's cool. And hopefully we see that, once or twice, and that doesn't mean that he wins, but it does just seem weird from a marketing standpoint to have like a bullet in your chamber like Logan Paul, but then kind of fumble his build up to his match at WrestleMania like they have.
There are rumors that New Japan and WWE are working together. And there was the Instagram post the other day of The Rock wearing the New Japan t-shirt.
With the Rubik's Cube?
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah,
what is their deal with AEW? It had a contract with them, haven't they? Or has it been on an event by event basis?
That's
including the biggest event that AEW does every year.
Right.
Their second biggest, I guess, to all in.
So it's out there. It's potentially
it'd be awesome,
right?
That'd be great.
Yeah. Hey, here's a question. If they work with Japan, do they have to get rid of Logan Paul?
He just can't go there.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's just a matter of him not being able to go there. Yeah, that's it. That's all. you sit this one out, Logan. We'll take you when we go to Saudi, but you can't go to Japan. Yeah,
exactly.
Do you think do you think it's possible that one of the reasons why Logan Paul is not being built the way he had in previous matches is because he is now legitimately a weekly personality or a bi-weekly personality instead of just showing up occasionally?
Are you living in my head? Because that's exactly what I was going to say. I'm like, I think I don't want to say nostalgia, but I think like the glitter has worn off of the Logan Paul. And I think that to me, it's one of those things where, okay, real question here. How focused is Logan Paul on WWE right now? Is he 100% in? Is he 90% in? Or is he 50% in with the 58 million other things that he's got going on?
Yeah. A guy like him can't be 100% committed to this. So no, he's there. He is going to put on good match. He knows that he's a big match. He doesn't have to wrestle on Raw. He doesn't have, he could show up to make Netflix happy, but that's it. I wonder, think back to November when Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fought each other. And at the end, Mike Tyson said something about wanting Logan Paul next. How hard do you think WWE worked to get something like that in Las Vegas for WrestleMania? Mm-hmm. And this is maybe just kind of what Mike they had to fall back on, you know?
Maybe to get him to show up. There's no way they're going to put Mike Tyson in a ring with one of their talents.
It would have been fun to see.
I would have loved it.
I didn't say it wouldn't be fun to see. I'm saying if somebody comes to you and says, "Hey, Joe, I got an idea. Let's take one of our prized possessions and we'll put him in the ring with a not completely stable guy who could, even in his age, punch the shit out of him and end his life."
What do you think? Did that before. Maybe it's a different boxer, but I thought they had some boxer show up and just like not like full-blown clock somebody in the face, but like.
Are you talking about WWE?
Yeah.
Butterbean literally like murdered Bart Gunn in the ring.
And WrestleMania 13. Go back. WrestleMania 14.
It was the what was it? The Tough Enough Finals or whatever the hell it was. Yeah.
Was it Tough Enough? No, it wasn't.
What was it called? Brawl for All. Thank you. Brawl for All. But yeah, so like they had real life boxing matches from WWE superstars in a tournament format, and then the winner of it fought Butterbean, and they thought this was going to be this is going to be fun. It was ridiculous. Good night, to sleep, spin the head around, cartoon style, out. It was bad.
One of our bosses, Conrad Thompson, has a podcast on it. If you go back and look at it, Something to Wrestle with Bruce Pritchard, Thomas. Go back and listen to how that one played out.
I'll check out the archive.
Something to Wrestle is great.
Too.
Yeah.
Anybody with a podcast about Brawl for All, it is, and Dark Side of the Ring did their thing too, which I'm not a huge fan of theirs, but that it was, and the fact that Butterbean was willing to work the match with Bart Gunn, and they're like, nope, go in there.
Yeah.
He's just, okay, I'll go kill him.
Yeah, he literally said before the match, he was like, I may kill this guy. And they were like, perfect, go on out.
Main event of night 2. It's Cody and John Cena. We talked a lot about this at the beginning. I will start by asking this. Does The Rock show up for WrestleMania night 2 in this main event?
If he wants to. That's it, right? If he wants to. No, I hope to God no. But if he comes out, it's going to be like, oh, really? You just wanted to be here. Yeah. That's what you have no point being here. You're just in the way, but it's all about you.
Now, my biggest fear about this main event on night 2, and Thomas, you talked about it earlier. I don't want them to sit there and go, we have to match last year. Because if you start forcing these things in, if the glass breaks and here comes Stone Cold and all of a sudden Cactus Jack is coming down, like, what are we doing? Like, slow down. I understand it. You don't have to match last year to have it be as equally as a good show. And I just really hope they do that. And they just make this match just a great WrestleMania main event caliber match, because I think that's what we need right now. I think that's what we need.
But if John Cena pins Cody Rhodes and wins the belt as a heel, would you say, whether it's negative or positive, would you say that pop matches last year? Just the impact of that historic moment.
I think it gets a huge pop, but no. I think it gets a huge pop, but no. I don't think it comes close to that. I mean, something really spectacular would have to happen to reach that pop again. And I think John Cena winning as a heel, he gets a pop. I think people also go, holy shit, he set a record and woo, I was part of it. So I'm here and I'm going crazy. But I don't think that it comes close to matching that from last year.
No, not even close. I don't think there's anything you can do to get it close. I think by the end they're going to cheer for him, but it won't be. And the Cody thing is very, very, very unique. It'd be very hard to replicate for anybody. Just like trying to replicate the Hogan Rock thing. That'll never be replicated because it was so natural.
Yeah,
you can try all you want, and this could possibly come close to something like that, but neither of those two will be touched.
So does John Cena win the 17th title on Sunday?
Yes,
I think so.
I think he does too.
I have said it from the beginning. I think that they hold off and they have him win it at SummerSlam, at MetLife. Then he can do all of the media the very next day in New York. Two-night event.
Look at you, businessman. I love it. Love it.
You need to sell 2 nights of SummerSlam this year in New York at a much bigger arena than Allegiant. That's my prediction for this.
He's going to have to be a super mega baby face for that to happen.
You can get him there by August.
Oh, you can get him there tomorrow.
I think John Cena wins at WrestleMania, and I think he loses it at SummerSlam, and then he loses it in a fashion that makes him painted as this mega baby face, and then he goes out for the remainder of the year and does his thing, and hey, here I am, I love everybody, this was a lot of fun, this was great, he's back to his John Cena's the hero guy, and then goes off into the sunset.
How big of a bump, too? Like, if you're a WWE superstar trying to make your way up the ladder, like, obviously, beating John Cena has implications. Didn't work out that well for people in the past. But beating heel John Cena, I feel like has to get you a huge bump. And I feel like John Cena would be interested in that, like on his way out, kind of elevating people with him before he goes instead of, being a baby face and then having to like squash all these people and be like, sorry, it's best for business.
Unless people don't care. That's the problem. He's going to have a hard time with every month that passes. People giving a shit about him being a bad guy. He's hard to believe is a bad guy.
Yep, you're right.
Saturday and Sunday, it'll all play out. WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas. Hope you enjoyed our preview here on Sports Hub STL. For John Marecek, Tony Patrico, and Thomas Welch, I'm Joe Roderick. Thanks for watching, everybody.